Okay, let's get started. I want to welcome you all to our online Masters of Public and Administration Information session. We are going to cover a lot of content and ultimately hope that this will help you determine if our program is going to be a good fit for you. My name is Elisa Milang. I am one of the enrollment advisors here at the University of Miami, the online division. If should you decide to apply to the MPA program, one of our enrollment advisors or myself will help you throughout the application process just to ensure your application is ready for submission. Like I said before, we have a lot of content to cover tonight and hope that you will find this information useful. Before we get started, I have a few housekeeping items. We understand that your time is very valuable, and we want to be courteous of that. The session will be about 45 minutes. If for any reason you have to head out, I know it's around dinner time, or you're coming in late, don't worry. You're going to be getting this session recorded, emailed to you later next week. We will be covering a lot of content tonight. You're going to hear from our faculty as well as some of our alumni. We want to make sure that this session is specifically geared for you. So if there's any specific questions that you have for these panelists, you will see a Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. Please feel free to utilize that during this chat. If you have any specific questions with regards to application items or financial aid, be sure to connect with one of our enrollment advisors, like me. We will look forward to speaking with you on an individual basis and help you through the process. Thank you all for joining us this evening. I am thrilled to have a fantastic group of panelists today. We have faculty member, Dr. Callie Curley. We also have Roxana Lemus and Stephanie Thomas, who are our alumni. Callie, would you like to kick it off and start telling us a little bit about yourself and your role here at the University of Miami?
Sure. Thank you, Lisa, for that introduction. My name is Callie Curley. Lots of people call me Dr. C. I am an associate professor here at the University of Miami. I've been here for about 4 years now, but before this was a faculty member at another institution in Indiana. I received my PhD from a university that I'm not supposed to name on Miami calls, Florida State. So I apologize for that. But I'm currently serving now as the Director of Graduate Studies for our MPA and MPP programs, including our online program. I'm a faculty member in the Department of Political Science. I do a lot of cool research, most notably on environmental and public health policies, but also looking at sort of collaborative governance and even focusing on city managers. So that's a little about me.
Okay, Roxana.
Hi, everyone. My name is Roxana Lemos. I graduated from UM with my master's in public administration back in August of last year. I feel like time has gone so quickly. But at the moment, I am a victim services program specialist for the Office of the Attorney General. But my background, I was in law enforcement, working in a nonprofit, but heavily focused on child advocacy. So very glad to be here. And if you have any questions, this is the perfect opportunity to ask because we've been through it and it's been an amazing ride. So we want to take you on this ride with us. So thank you.
Go ahead, Dr. Thomas.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Stephanie Thomas. I have been a public servant for about, I would say all my life, but with the city of North Miami for 22 years. I am currently the supervisor of elections. We are in our general election season right now, as you all know. I have been played many roles in the public sector. I've worked for the mayor and council office for about 14 years. I was the business tax receipt manager. I was also the deputy city clerk and also worked for community planning and development, where we help developers and the city with land use and all those intricate things about, land use and development. So I'm here to answer any questions. I'm so excited to be on this platform with these beautiful young ladies, and we're ready to rock and roll.
Since we were just hearing from our alumni just now, I have a question for you ladies. When did you know that it was time to pursue, this master's degree? And what made you choose the University of Miami? And what sets us apart from the others that you may have considered? Dr. Thomas, do you want to start?
Sure. Well, you, of course, was the main reason. Oh, gosh. Can you all hear me? I think I kind of froze. Okay, sorry. Of course, I've always wanted to attend the University of Miami, so I took the chance of applying when I did a little research online, and I needed a class where I can actually do an online class, and I knew it would be a challenge for me, and I knew that I would have to have, discipline, right? Because I'm a typical student that likes to traditional going to school, sitting in the classroom, and interacting with the students and also with the professors. So I thought it was a great opportunity with my life, the way it was going at the time. I had an ill husband, I had teenagers at the time going to school, and I was working full time. So it was just a great balance for me to actually decide to apply, and accepted me. So why not take the chance? So I did it.
That's awesome. And Roxana, how about yourself?
So for me, I mean, the has always been near and dear to me, because I remember when I toured the school when I was 17, and I was like, man, that was the dream school, that it was it. But I didn't think I was, at the time, I didn't think I was smart enough to get into this school. But some things, I think that when things are meant to be, they just kind of follow you. And every time I kept seeing the license plate, and all that, it was okay, it's time. But what attracted me a lot was like what Dr. Stephanie said, was the flexibility. Because at the time I was working in law enforcement with all of these different crazy hours, and I needed something where I can still pursue my education and want more, because I love being an advocate. But when I would see, detectives and go up the ranks, I said, okay, well, I want to go up the ranks and form of advocacy. How can I do that? And just provided that perfect package with a nice bow on top for me. And at the end of the day too, I mean, is a reputable school. I mean, it's okay? Like, whenever I would say, oh, I'm studying at or I graduated at everyone always has that, oh, okay. Like, it's that extra oomph. So, but overall, it's just, for me, it was my dream school, but the flexibility combined with it.
Okay. That's awesome to hear. And since I heard you both touch base on flexibility and how it was able to work around your schedule, Dr. Curley, can you talk to us a little bit about how the curriculum is designed to help students succeed in real world scenarios, with their regular everyday life? And what are some of the skills and learnings that this program focuses on?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing I'll touch on is just to expand on the flexibility piece, right? Our students take one class at a time for 7 weeks, right? And then they go through those 7 weeks. And I really wanted to say 6, by the way, because of that last week's also being the same as finals. Sorry. So with the 7 weeks, you take one class, and then you have a little window, a break, and then you have another class that runs 7 weeks, and you are done for your semester. You get a nice little window or break, right? Oh, are we good?
You there, Stephanie?
Okay. And so speaking to the larger curriculum piece, there's a whole bunch that we offer. We're going through curriculum reform, which is great because it means that we are updating the classes. We're making sure that we're staying aligned with what you all would need in the field, right? So we're putting together a industry advisory panel.
Hold on 1 second. Dr. Thomas, do you mind? Yes, thank you. Go ahead, Dr. Curley.
And so the industry advisory panel is going to make sure that all of our courses and the types of curriculum that we're teaching and offering are aligned with the needs of the field, right? So that's one of the ways that we sort of stay up to date with the curriculum. But the class offerings range from, thinking about the inner workings of an office and how do we interact with leaders and managers and supervisors, to what does it look like to understand how the organization works outside of itself too. So it covers a whole range.
Yes, yes. And just to piggyback off of what you were saying, I know, and as you're speaking about networking and being able to connect, I do have a question for Roxana and Stephanie. Can you talk a little bit about your faculty interaction throughout the program, the level of engagement you experience with them, and even your peers as well, because it is a little bit different because it is online. So you're not seeing everybody day to day. So can you explain those interactions? Roxana, if you would like to go first.
Yeah, what makes the UOnline so different is, and I mean this with all sincerity, it's not like a traditional online, okay, you take an online class, call it a day, we move on to the next. For me personally, I felt like I was actually in Miami. The only time I would remember I wasn't when I would step outside my door and go, oh, I'm in Pasco County, I'm not in Miami. But the fact, I really wholeheartedly, I appreciated my like everyone that was in the class with me. I appreciate, but the faculty, they hold a very, very special place in my heart. And I always get emotional when you guys bring this question up, because they genuinely care for their students. And I can't stress that enough. It's, yeah, you do the online and you do the work, but these professors, they really want to get to know you as a person. And every time like they see an opportunity that they'll reach out to you saying, hey, I thought of you when I saw this opportunity. And for me personally, I was going through such a hard time, and to be, to be honest, my grades were slipping a little bit, and all it took was that one professor, and Dr. Beckholtz especially. I love everyone. But it was that change, that push of like, no, you can do this, you can be more. All these professors want you to shine. They want you to be like more than what you think you are. And honestly, I'm so thankful for every single one of them, because if it wasn't for them, like the Roxana that entered the program, there's no way that when you leave the program, you're the exact same way. Like Dr. Curley said perfectly, I see myself being a lot more patient at my job, or when you go to a different organization, you understand a little bit more about the red tape sometimes, or whatever, any other elements. It's just they give you the right amount of tools. But and if it wasn't for the friends that I've made within the program, it would have made it, I think, not more difficult, because I have my support system at home, but they really helped me because we all understood what we were going through. And even the newer students that were coming in and the next cycle, it's like it was just like a match.com, and they would just join in so easily. And especially when their classrooms are, you have the discussions. And I think that is what helped foster a lot of the relationships. And I never felt scared. If I needed to, ever reach out to a professor for a question, they created such a safe space. But their experience and everything, it was just amazing. I have nothing great things to say. So.
And Dr. Thomas?
Well said, Roxana. I have to agree with Roxana. just the support that I had from my professors. And one of them is very dear to me, to my heart, was Dr. West. He was always helping me out throughout the 2 years I was in the program. Even after the program, I kept in touch with him. And the students as well, they were a great support system within the program. And learning about them through the discussions was even more of a jewel, right? Because you get to learn the intricate part of what these students go through and what their perspective is on, public administration. So not only did I learn from them, but I learned from my professors, and they were very supportive, especially during the time when my husband was in and out of the hospital for the 2 years. So the professors were always, open to telling me what I need to work on my projects and how to implement whatever I need or improve my work in any way. So the resources were always there through our professors.
Awesome. And it does sound, and again, like I was speaking before, a lot of people do worry about how they're going to be able to really connect and interact with their professors, with their peers. Because even though it is online, everybody wants that little bit of connection. And like Roxana said, you guys, while you're in this same program, you guys know what each other are going through. So it's good to have that support system there. Now to kind
and-
of
and-
go ahead.
And I'm sorry, I'm gonna quick
Go
add
ahead.
something.
No, this is great. This is awesome. As
And
a
just quick,
alumni, this is what people need to hear. Your
No.
experience and how, it was so great here. Right?
Yes, it was fantastic. But in the same token too, just to add really quickly, is these professors know that we're all working professionals. They know that we're not only juggling a job, we're juggling a family, we're juggling so many different things. And so that's what makes it better. It's like, they're there, they understand, they'll work with you. So just to add that.
Yes. So, and I know that you guys discussed a bit about how you guys were able to connect and your professors, but I'd like to hear from Dr. Curley. For everybody that typically joins our program, or mostly, they're busy professionals in this world, right? What would you say from the professor standpoint is the advantages of completing an online program? How do you guys make yourself available for questions, for any discussions? How is it that you guys structure that part, and what are the advantages of the online program?
All right, that was a lot of questions, but I'm going to
Yes.
try to nail them all. So
I'll
if I forget
I'll
one,
break it down for you if you like.
yeah, please remind me. So first, each professor is a little bit different. So they all will have a mildly different management style. One of the things that I know that I do is essentially interact with you all in the discussion, right? Either through my individual comments or through a post on the discussion board. Another way that I'll interact is through like very heavy-handed feedback on some assignments, some not so much, but on some quite significant. And then I'll encourage students to reach out to me to talk about them, right? Just to sign up on my calendar, right? So I have for me anyways, I use a Calendly link, and all you have to do is fill a slot. And anytime that I'm teaching in the online program, I try to make sure that I have after work hours, available on my Calendly. I'm just genuinely super available via email, which is something that I think all of our faculty generally do very well, because again, like Roxana said, right, we do care about our students, but more importantly, we're also working professionals who are going through it. And so we understand what those challenges look like and feel like. And there's a whole lot of compassion from us, but that compassion doesn't come at a cost of rigor or expectations. And I think that that's a hard balance for some to walk, but it's one that I've been very proud of our team for walking.
That sounds great. And it does really sound, and I know myself for being an enrollment advisors and meeting some of the professors, I do know that our professors make it a point to really be present in the students' lives, throughout their sessions and their courses. I know some are even professors on campus, and some of our online students have even just to go meet them in person, whatever it may be. But that just, goes to show the type of support that, we offer here at the University of Miami, how it becomes, and not to sound cliche or like, a little bit corny, but it is like a family unit, from all aspects. And I know that even from our enrollment side, even if they're already way into their program, you may remember that one student that stuck out to you and you follow up, hey, how's everything going for you? How are your courses going for you? Just to ensure that they're feeling supported from all of us. So that is really great. So what I would like to hear is now from our two alumni as well. What was your career path during, after graduation? Were you able to advance when you graduated from this degree? Were you able to advance within your own career path, or did you create a new career path? What was it like for you after graduation, Dr. Thomas?
I'm still going through my career path. But it did increase my salary, and I was in a new position. And of course, I've gained more knowledge in my career, as well as I opened my own business. So I do have a business on the side that is my passion, which is still in the healthcare field, because that's where my degree spans from, besides the MPA program. So it has definitely made a difference in my career path and also my professional career. I am sitting on various boards and committees that people, rely and depend on my opinion and what I have to say at the table. So that made a big difference.
It sounds like it did. It sounds like it did. And how about for you, Roxana?
Oh man, well, life after graduation has been great. Has been really great. It's other than the withdrawals that you kind of suffer when you leave and you graduate, but it's really helped my career in so many different ways. Like Dr. Stephanie said, the growth is the biggest thing, the growth of the mindset, right? But at the time, I've been in the field of advocacy for about 8 years, and I'm still dedicated to that. But this program really, with the professors combined, really taught me that I can just do more. Like, it's okay to step out of your comfort zone, and just do more. Just keep applying and see what happens. But it's interesting when I would do all these interviews and applying a lot of the concepts that was taught to me, and how it just, you can be in any field. You can be in advocacy, you can be in healthcare, you can do anything, but it applies to all. So, but at the time I was working at the Guardian Litem office as a child advocate manager, and with this degree, and again, with this degree and with all the support and the confidence that the gave me, the professors, there was a job that for years I would see it posted at the Office of the Attorney General, and I said, no, I don't. That's for maybe someone who's been in the field for 20 years. I don't think I'm capable of doing that. And my dear professor, Dr. Beck, was like, no, go for it. Like, you have you're there if you need anything. They're right around the corner. You have us. You have us. And I went for it. I went for it full force. And one of the things that they did notice was the fact that I graduated from University of Miami. And they're like, oh, so you know the area of Miami. I said, well, I visited the school, but just having that degree, it made a significant difference. And I brag, I carry my diploma and I put it in my wall, and every single person's like, whoa, wow, but it has opened a lot of doors. Like Dr. Stephanie said, you sit in all these committees and they're like, we want to know your opinion. And I'm like, you want to know my opinion? Because it's a completely different ball game. So I'm very grateful for for opening so many more doors that I didn't even think I could ever open, but they just had a special key that they gave me when you graduate. And so it's phenomenal.
That sounds amazing. And it really is great to hear, where you guys are, how getting this Master of Public Administration, just helped your career all around, whether you stayed in the same career path like Stephanie did, Dr. Thomas, and just, got a bigger salary, or Roxana, you went for it. You went for that, that one position, it just sounds really great. And it's great to hear, especially being, in the enrollment side. It's so good to see the outcome as well. Since we are talking about, building a successful career, Dr. Curley, University of Miami has a far-reaching alumni network and connections leading to the financial companies. How does the online program help students leverage these connections to build a successful career, no matter where they are located? So we have students everywhere.
Yeah, it's a very large alumni network. And it's one that I can tell just from hearing from our alumni talk, they've taken extensive advantage of. I know on the advising side that there's some effort to connect students, typically to alumni who maybe share passions. And then we also have an alumni advisory board that we as a program work with to help on curriculum development, to create opportunities and panels. But we're always looking for more opportunities to get our esteemed alumni involved and dedicated to supporting our students, whether that be in person or online.
That is great to hear. And is there anything else, Roxana, Dr. Thomas, or Dr. Curley, is there anything else that you feel would be an advantage for our students to hear? Maybe, how you guys handled, for Roxana and Dr. Thomas, how you guys handled your course load, the things that can make somebody a little bit nervous to proceed in registering for school or even applying. What was that like for you, actually going through the course load, and how did you break down your time? Dr. Thomas?
So I have to say, I was scared. So that's the first reaction I had. And it's a normal reaction because we're humans, right? I was out of school for about 5 years and decided to make this big leap to obtain another master's degree. And I was like, okay, well, this is going to be different. It's online, but I can do this. And what helped me throughout the course was, the curriculum syllabus is usually out about a week before the class. So I paced myself in skimming through the work one day at a time. I didn't do it all because it was just too much to, absorb in one day. But I, familiarized myself within the week to kind of pace myself, calendar everything that I needed to do, the discussion questions, everything is kind of the same every semester with all the professors. There may be some little tweaks here and there, but they basically try to keep it as normalized for everyone so that you're not razzled by the end of the week or by the end of the semester. So that really helped me. And of course, the library resources was invaluable, right? The access to the library was just helpful in every which way. And articles that were provided by the professors was very helpful in my writing and my projects. That really helped. I also wanted to add, I wanted to add this at the last conversation we had. Both Roxana and I was featured in Best Colleges, and we were selected by to be featured in Best Colleges article. I just wanted to put that out there. So, has definitely been a big support for me.
And Roxana?
It's always getting the mushy side gets out. I'm like, oh, very much the same. I have my trusty planner that I have to use to put in, like, okay, this is when I'm going to start working on the assignments. And sometimes, because again, the flexibility was so nice, right? I would come home sometimes from doing home visits at 9:30 at night, take like a 30-minute breather, like decompress, and then I would start the work. So it just depends on what works best for you and getting to know, okay, getting adjusted to it. But like what Dr. Stephanie said, you have your schedule ahead of time to help plan that out. It's like trial and error. But to me, what also helped was, depending on the course, I would have like one-on-ones with my professors. That really helped me be accountable. And just to kind of grasp the material just a little bit more, and having, making friends with within my course has what helped a lot too, because we would have a lot of like study groups like every week. So we held each other accountable, having each other's numbers. So that really helped for me. But at the end of the day, it's just a matter of just diving right into it. It's 7 weeks. Seems like, oh snap, how am I gonna fit everything in? But it's a reasonable amount of work within that week. So, again, it's all about planning, making sure that you're keeping up with what you have to keep up, and always, again, because life happens, but always communicating with your professors, because they do leave that open door. And because I've had things happen, and I've emailed my professors and they've been like so accommodating. I'm like, oh snap, I didn't expect that. Like, I remember when I was going through my rough patch, right when it was like kind of fresh and I was kind of falling behind, I was in the middle. I was like in Dr. Curley's class, and I was like, I need to do a Zoom. And it was like right after that conversation, she listened, she was just there, just like every other professor had. And it was like a reset button, like, okay, all right, let's get back on track. So it's just, so that's what helped me.
Yes, I agree. Communication with your professors is a key factor. Yeah.
That's great. And it's great to hear, a input on Dr. Curley from Roxana, because it really shows the real world value. Like, it really shows that these are things that are actually going on, not that we're just saying it, oh yes, they're going to be there for you. But here, that is, what I've experienced, what others have experienced. So it's really great to hear. Dr. Curley, before we start closing out here, do you have any tips, tricks to help students stay on track and hold themselves accountable to their assignments, and to keep up with the coursework?
I think you heard most of the ones I'd recommend, right?
Yes.
Study groups for accountability, making sure that you've got things scheduled and booked, and then just communicate, right? Like, that's the key to unlocking all of the things, right? Especially in an online environment where we don't know really who you are except for what you share through prompts that you're given, unless you reach out and you have that one-on-one connection with us. It's so much easier to feel connected when you communicate, right? Even if it's via email, right? Or via Zoom or on a phone call, right? As long as we're engaged in discussion with one another, the world is possible, right? Whatever you take that to mean.
That's awesome. And I want to thank you guys for being here, our wonderful panelist group. You guys have been nothing short of amazing, especially with, the knowledge you guys brought, the knowledge from firsthand knowledge, professor knowledge. It was really great to have you guys here today. Really awesome. So now, I want to discuss on the enrollment side. We have an early admissions deadline that will be coming up Monday, March 11th. As long as you're applying before the early admissions deadline, you will, just for attending today's session today, you will receive a $300 deposit fee waiver. So your application will be free as long as you're applying by March 11th, Monday, March 11th. Which is our early admissions deadline. You can call to speak to any enrollment advisor. Maybe you'll get me, that'll be great. But you can speak to any enrollment advisors via the 800 number that you see on the screen, or our live chat, which is also available for you all. You can also just start your application on the link that's in our chat and on the screen as well. And one of our advisors will be reaching out to you. We hope to see many of your names, since I can't see your faces, many of your names, we hope to see them come across our screens and become future students and become part of our U team. Thank you all for joining us tonight.
Thank you.